Hi, and welcome to Chapter 9, the Confederation and the Constitution. Just going to give you a quick introduction on what the chapter is about, and give you an idea of where we're headed. A little bit of a roadmap, if you will. Here, we are at a period of time in our nation's history where we just fought the American Revolution. We've wrapped things up with the Paris Peace Treaties, and we are now answering that question that you will all surely ask at some point in your lives when you find yourselves on your own for the first time, and that is the question of, well, now what? What do we do now? And the first answer to that question turns out to be something called the Articles of Confederation, and that's where we will start in the lecture. We will start with what were the Articles, what were their provisions, what did they do, what did they not do? What was good about them, as it turns out, not very much, and what was bad about them, and it turns out quite a bit, in fact. We'll then talk about some of the actual events that highlighted these bad things in the Articles of Confederation, most notably Shays' Rebellion. We'll spend a considerable amount of time talking about that. We will also then talk about the plan and how the plan was formulated to fix the Articles of Confederation. And that's gonna take us on an encounter with some of the most notable names in history. Jefferson, Madison, Washington, Hamilton. All of those are going to be some names, and that's just a short list of the names we're going to talk about, as those 55 delegates convened in Philadelphia, and met behind closed doors to try to hammer out some form of government that's going to protect this grand American experiment. After that, we'll get into some of the nuts and bolts of the Constitution. How are we going to determine a legislative branch? How are we going, what powers is the president, what powers is this new president going to have? And then we'll talk a little bit about sort of how democratic was this whole process. And the answers may surprise you a little bit. And then in class, we're going to actually look at the Constitution. We'll spend a good deal of time on the Constitution. We'll break it down into sections, but we'll also look at articles like James Madison's Federalist Number 10. We will also look at obviously some images, some different things to try to as best as we can, put you back in that time period here in Chapter 9, the Confederation and the Constitution.